Hey everyone, Egman here with another video, and today we've got my blue Veemon jamming deck that I played on my stream last night with guest JoDobbi, so definitely check out his links in the description below. It was a lot of fun having him on there. I can't wait to have him again, and there's also one of the matches we played commentated over at the end of the video as well, so make sure to look at that if you want to see this deck in action. But let's just jump into it. This is kind of like a more mid-range aggro and frankly a budget version of the blue Veemon chain. I just felt like a lot of people, if 1.5 is going to be anything like 1.0, I felt like this, it's going to be hard for people to get decks and everything. I wanted to build a deck that was fun and challenging, but also you could play on a budget, and I felt like this really accomplished it. The cheapest card the most expensive card is probably this Digimon Secret Rare, but I feel like this is one of the weakest cards in the deck. If you don't have it, you don't have to run it. Like, you don't have to buy it. I think you can fill in with other cards, just get some level 4 that you really like, and just fill in your chain. But it's really cheap otherwise. There's no super rares in this deck, and you also notice that we cap out on level 5. We don't have any level 6s or even level 7s, so no Omnimons in this deck. But I think it packs a real good punch, and there's some a lot of potential with it. So let's just jump on into it. We only run 4 eggs because we don't expect to last more than a couple turns, and we always want to see this guy, so we're running just 4 of him. But when attacking once per turn, if this Digimon has jamming, you get to draw 1 card, which is really handy, getting some consistent card draw. And looking at our rookies, we're running 16 because we are this kind of more aggro build. We got Goblimon because he's great. We've got Ganomon because he's also great. And then from the new cards for 1.5, we've got this Veemon that has your turn, inheritable of once per turn. If this Digimon becomes active during your main phase, you get to draw 1, which is some extra card draw as well. And then we also have a Veemon that's just strictly has jamming. So, immediately you can just say, oh, Digivolve onto here, and then you're able to get this jamming guy out, which feels really good. And then going from there, we also have, for our level 4s, we have this Frigidmon. It's also jamming, so a really similar chain you can do there. We also have Veemon, which gets jamming as long as you have a blue Tamer. It also has an extra K there. We have Veemon here, which has when attacking once per turn, if you have a Tamer, make this Digimon active. So this can be, obviously there's a lot of synergy with either untapping or giving things jamming, and both those kind of mechanics work really well together. Because if you swing at something with jamming, it's not going to die unless it gets hit by something with like Gaia Force, and then being able to restand it, and protect it so you can do another swing next turn feels really, really good, and it makes it hard for your opponent to really counteract it. So, but Veemon is nice because he's able to dual attack. It's kind of hard to give this guy protection though, so I don't think he's like super necessary, especially because he's an Evo for 3 and we're a little bit energy scarce at sometimes, but he does put in the effort, and if you do have him, I'd recommend running 1 or 2. We also have talked about that guy, and this is probably the X Veemon, probably one of the strongest cards in the deck. Just when Digivolve, one of your level 4 last Digimon become active. So once again, kind of the same thing. Like a really cool little combo as you can do is you have a Stemmy Veemon, and then you swing with, have Veemon on top of it, and then you just swing, and then you're able to Digivolve it, and then, save it because you put it back to active mode. Or something similar if you have something like Veemon, and then you have like Frigidmon on top of it, swing with it, and then you can do this X Veemon on something else, untap your Frigidmon, which means you have another jamming attack later, and then you also get to gain card advantage for doing so. So like a lot of the stuff you're doing, you get some like life damage. It's usually pretty safe, and you get some card advantage to take over it. So once you get like your 1 or 2 kind of things in, this deck just generates a bunch of card value from there. And then our last level 5, or our only level 5 is Arrow Veemon. It just has a when Digivolve, if you have a blue Tamer, one of your blue Digimon become active. So the same kind of thing as X Veemon. You do have to have a blue Tamer out, but it's just kind of nice. You can untap itself too, which you can once again do a thing like you have Veemon, and then you have Frigidmon on top of it, swing, jamming, and then you can just evolve on top of it. You save your own guy, and then you get another card draw because Veemon's underneath it, and you get it. It's your main phase. So it's just, you'll see like there's just a bunch of these like cute little combos you can do. Going into the option cards, we've got 2 V-Nova Blast. This is probably like the weakest card in the deck. I felt like it's just kind of good though because of our Digitama being able to give something jamming, and it just replaces itself, and then like we can almost guarantee like our guy survives and everything. I felt like it was cute. I think running it at 2 is fine. I think running it any more than that is not good, and I think running it at 0 is fine as well if you don't like it. But I wanted to put 2 in it, and it's an alright. Veemon with V-Nova Blast feels great because then you don't have to be worried about this guy dying for its dual attack. but I think it's all right. But I think like the best card in this deck is the Ray of Victory. I don't think this deck would be viable without it. But return one of your opponent's level 5 or less Digimon to the hand. That Digimon's devolution sources are discarded. If you have a blue tamer, one of your Digimon become active. So just being able to do that is incredible. Especially like, you know, once again, if we have this Veemon underneath it, you get to go like +2. You get to wipe off one of their 5 or less back to their hand, and then you get to play, you know, untap something, and then you get to draw something if you have that Veemon underneath it. Or even if you don't, just being able to swing with jamming and then protect it by restanding it, and your opponent really can't do anything about it, just feels good. And they lose a lot of tempo, and sure, you lose like card advantage a little bit, but you generate so much of it, it doesn't really matter. We're running 4 Hammer Sparks because we're not dumb. And then for our tamers, we're running 3 Rena and 3 Mats. I do want to just talk about the tamers real quick. I think the 2 other options we have are Davis, just because he lets you go. He's a little expensive at 4, but being able to start with, you know, your turn with 3 every time feels great as well. And also on play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 blue and 1 green Digimon among them to your hand, place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. So it just means that you get to draw a card, because you get to look top 3 for just any of your Digimon. You don't get to draw a green one, but you can still get to draw your blue one. And then also we have our V-Tamer tie. I think this one is okay as well. I like Rena a little bit more, just we'll talk about it in a minute. But if you have a Digimon with Veemon in its name, you may suspend this tamer to activate one of the following effects. You either draw 1 card, this Digimon gets 1k for the turn. And so we only have 8 or 10 targets for that, because we have Arrow Veemon, and then this other Veemon. This is X Veemon, so he doesn't count, and these are just Veemon, so they don't have Veemon in it. So it's a little bit, you know, specific in this build for this. I mean, if you want to run Veemon 0, you can. This is okay. But I didn't feel like this was like super good. Like the one attacking is really good for this guy, but we're not evolving past 4 very often. So, you know, I don't feel like it came up as much as it should. But this guy felt really good in the sense of, you know, it's being able to draw 1 or gain plus DP when you need to feels good. But I felt like we drew enough with this deck, and that Reno was just better because you're able to, you know, your draw doesn't depend on, you only get 1 draw, but it doesn't depend on having something out. And then also, you know, you still get the passive 1k DP once per turn. And then also, it looks top 3 for V, which are the most important cards. It's not Veemon, it's just V. So you can find a rookie if you need a rookie. You can find a level 4 if you need to find a level 4 in any of these guys, because it just says V and this is X Veemon. Or if you need to find your level 5, you can do that too. So it just really does everything better. I feel like it does cost 1 more, but I think it's worth it in the end. And so that's why I went the 3 and 3. And then Matt's just cheap. He can like get you more memory, because I feel like a lot of the time if your opponent's trying to counteract this, they want to like hard cast guys, like hard cast blockers. That's probably like one of the better, you know, strategies to do something against this. But then you just get memory for it, and you get to play around it. So I think 6 is like the rightish number for these guys. I feel like if you don't like V-Nova Blast, definitely put in another tamer. 8, I think, might start getting to cloggy, so if you want to do 7, I think 7's a good sweet spot as well if you're not seeing these enough. But I don't think 6 is a bad number either. And then also, if you don't have Veemon, I think like this, the one that you want, it's a little expensive. Garurumon, this guy. Just add this guy. Just add 2 of this guy in the deck. It's pretty much the same thing. You have to do it on play to unsuspend something, but just the fact that you get to like save one of your dudes, even though you have to pay 6 for it, can be really helpful. And you can do like a cheap, you know, devolution to him as well. I think that's probably, if you don't have this Veemon, go for that. But that's the deck real quick, and then let's go into the gameplay. All right, so here's our match against JoDobbi. I get to go second, so he just plays Angemon, gives me 7 whole energy, which is a lot, and so I go into my Veemon from there, and then I think I just play my Ganomon, go into Frigidmon, and I think for a hot minute, I do play Matt, go into 2, and then I just Digivolve there, putting him to 1, and I don't have a big hand, but I think I'll be able to get a good amount, and he plays his Unimon there for his blocker. and I think I just hard cast the Goblimon, putting him back to 1 again. Matt already, getting a lot of value. Oh, and plays another one of those guys, just crazy. And so I'll go into my Gonomon there. I swing my Frigidmon into there, and he takes the bait by not blocking. So I send that back, get the restand, get another jamming swing there, and then I get another jamming swing, and I get a draw card because of the Veemon under there, and get the untap there, putting it 1. So feeling really good, especially since I get the memory if this Frigidmon dies. So he plays another Andromon, and okay, so we untap there, and I think he should have maybe, I don't know if he should have swung or not, if you want to give me memory or not, but I swung there, and he's able to get his TK, get a mat there, and then swing X Veemon, kills it, which was not super terrible, but I think for a minute. I feel like I can go for game. The scary thing is he's got like 4 guys on board, and I've got 5 security, so like it's scary. But I do the Veemon there, and with everything, so I swing in, I get to untap, swing again, and then just play my Veemon, Hammer Burst, untap my Frigidmon, and swing for game. So real quick game, but it really just shows the power of this guy. A lot of untapping, a lot of jamming, and it doesn't really matter as long as we don't run into things like Gaia Force and stuff. A lot of these guys will live, and you get a lot of value from it. So that's the deck. Once again, shout out to JoDobbi for playing with me, and I'll catch you all next time.